Hi, I'm Nick Termini with the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Action Coach in North Kansas City. What we're doing is promoting local businesses and showing what they've accomplished and talking about how they got started and what type of client experiences they create. Today we're here with Andrew. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Hey, pretty good, Nick. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, hey, really appreciate you joining our Spotlight series. And if you could, just tell us a little bit about your company and how you got started.
Yeah, so my company, it's called Elevating Talents, and the concept with it is I am here to help folks who want to invest in real estate find deals that will get good returns on their investment. And ultimately, what that the result of it is gaining time, and time is limited for so many of us. And I just want to help people get back their time by getting a better return on their investment and getting financial freedom.
That's awesome, Andrew. And so, Action Coach in North Kansas City, what we see the greatest challenges in business, whether it's executives, managers, and especially business owners, is time is a resource that they struggle to control. And so time, team, and money are the biggest challenges we generally see with business owners. And it sounds like you're doing a great job of helping them gain back their time by creating cash flow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cash flow is king, and also finding deals where you can really turn the equity over, and you can force appreciation, and folks can have money in projects for 2, 3, 4, 5 years and come out the other end with a great return, and do that again if they want, tax with great tax benefits.
That's awesome. Well, if you could tell us a little bit about your ideal client or investor that you're looking for.
Yeah, so a lot of the deals that I have available are for accredited investors, but there'll also be some available that are for anyone. And so my ideal investor is someone who loves real estate or is interested in learning more about investing in real estate. One of the reasons I got into it is I'm a big believer in investing in hard assets, and real estate, even in a time like now with where the economy is, it's a great hedge against inflation, and it's backed by a place where people need to live, and that's not going to change. And so I've seen the power of it in a small way. My wife and 3 kids and I have owned 2 homes here in the northeast part of Kansas City, and have just seen the power of it with not really intentional, hey, we're going to buy this to increase the value and then make this money off it. But we worked on our houses; they were kind of fixer uppers, and then 3 years later, all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, this is pretty cool. It wasn't too much work, and now it's worth this much. And so seeing the power of that in a small way with a single family house. And what I wasn't familiar with was more the multifamily, the very large things like 100-unit apartment. And that's what's really opened my eyes to the power of what you can find in a single family is just multiplied in a multifamily. And but you need a really good team to make it happen. And as I launched this business, one of the things I really wanted to do is surround myself with people who have been around the block and have been through a number of real estate cycles as far as what's happening in the economy, whether it's back in '08 or '09. And so I've been able to join a community of folks that have had really successful businesses for a few decades. And so I get to partner with them on projects as they come up.
That's awesome, Andrew. And like you said, a lot of people are interested in real estate, but not really sure where to start. And having an expert like you that's built a team and can help guide them is a tremendous resource. How did you get started down this path?
So I was actually talking to a friend, and he was talking about what's new in his life, and he said, "Hey, there's this webinar of this guy that's talking about commercial real estate, and really about what it would be like to jump into it and what the possibilities are." And so I was already a believer in real estate, but I didn't really have the knowledge of the whole commercial real estate, what it is, and it's a very big thing. And I got on the webinar, and it started me on a journey of educating myself, and which then led to connecting with a group of 50 to 60 businesses spread across the country that are all in the same thing.
Yeah.
And then ultimately in investing in this coaching program and this mastermind where, I called 2 or 3 dozen businesses that are already in it and just asked them questions and got advice. And so that was really transformative for me in deciding to make the jump to do this full time. And so that was really thankful for that. But that was definitely a key, is like surrounding yourself with the right people is so important, and especially in commercial real estate. It's a big business with a lot of roles, and when you can find people that already excel in certain parts of those, then that allows me to do what I can excel in. And so I've been real thankful for that, of really having this team that can help me get this thing jump started.
That's awesome. And so part of what we're doing at Action Coach in North Kansas City is we're building community, right? And one of the things you touched on there was having a coach and being able to educate yourself in the real estate space, to be able to put together your team and build these kind of projects, right? And so we're creating a membership program for business owners to build community, have accountability, and then also it's all about results, right? Like we have to drive results in that accountability, and then education. So one of the things you touched on to grow in your real estate space and be able to develop your company and help others grow passive income, we're doing the same thing with business owners to be able to ultimately create a commercial profitable enterprise that works without them. And it sounds like, with the type of passive income you're helping others create, you're helping them generate income without them having to be the one at the forefront of it, right?
Yeah. That's such a key component of all this. As I was on this journey, I kept hearing a book title come up, which I hadn't read yet. It was called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And I heard it come up so much, and eventually I was just like, I guess this is something I should have read by now. And so I went and bought it that day and kind of ripped through the pages in about a week. And it was very just like sound, fundamental financial advice, but not the kind we learned in school. No, but the kind we should learn in school.
Yes.
And so just the concept of you have income and you have expenses, you have assets and you have liabilities, and how do all those work with each other? And when you get to the point where your assets or your passive income that can come from those assets can pay for your expenses, then you're financially free. You can work 60 hours a week or 10 hours a week, whatever is best for you and your family, because your assets are paying for your expenses. And so it was just it's a good book. And if you haven't read it, read it. But one of the other components of that was kind of what you said. It was kind of a story about these 2 dads that had very different approaches to life. And but these dads were unofficial coaches. And I can tell you, having accountability, whether it's a coach or a community that's doing a similar thing, is really, really important. It can get really easy to lose focus on what the most important things are. And so I find that whenever I'm surrounded by folks that are going the same way as me, and it can be really encouraging, but also challenging, because I'm sitting here watching them do the same thing, and maybe I'm trying to keep up with them, or maybe they're trying to keep up with me. And so it's not only that, but I think as business leaders, one of the things that I find is it can be a lonely place. And when you're out there leading, a lot of times it can be lonely. And so finding other folks that can help you, partner with you on that journey is essential to quality of life. Of course, to get the results in business, but also what's your life like at home, and what's your marriage like? And if you have kids, what's your relationship with your kids, and how do you do it all? You know, how do
Yeah,
you run a successful business?
how are you present all the time, right? Like, so
Yeah.
part of the challenge is how do you turn your brain off and be able to be present, and enjoy your kids and your family and your life. So,
Yeah.
you know, everything you're saying really resonates to me. And you know, our goal is to help tell entrepreneurs and business owners and business leaders, innovators story to help resonate with and inspire, you know, other like-minded people, because like you said, it is a lonely place. And you know, that's a big part of our goal in this business spotlight is one,
Yeah.
you know, to be able to help tell your story, but also inspire others. And
Yeah.
it's everything you're saying is spot on and awesome. And you know, the other thing too is, you know, iron sharpens iron. Like you said, when you get in these groups, you elevate your game just because you're around high performers.
Yeah.
And you know, you're setting the pace with them, going back and forth, and you realize you're accomplishing a lot more. And you know, what I've learned in building, you know, our community and having, you know, 30 years of business coaching resources and tools and knowledge, you know, owning an Action Coach franchise is that when you get all these people together, you educate them on, you know, business things that get them excited, and then they feed off each other. A lot of transactions and good business starts to happen within the group too. Like it just continues to manifest and fester in ways that everybody wins. But like you said, raises everybody's level. So I love what you're saying, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's having a community, authentic, genuine community is just so important. We're not meant to do stuff alone. We're just not.
That's exactly right. And
Yeah.
it can be lonely. And you know, a couple other things you mentioned there that caught my ears. What do you do to continue to sharpen your skills as a leader? Because you know, you've hit certain levels, but yet you continue to challenge yourself to grow. What is it that you do that helps you continue to sharpen your skills?
I think one of the biggest ones is that I'm doing right now is surrounding myself with people that are 3, 5, 10, 20 years ahead of me in the business that I'm in, and or in business in general. And as I do that, it's you talked about being around a lot of high performing people and what that can do. It's kind of like that, but it's also there's people that have been there and that they've done it, and that they can help you maybe be more efficient on your journey to building a successful business.
Yes.
And then also, if it's like, if I'm around people that are ahead of me in business, that's where I want to get to. So let me get around those people and figure out how they did it. And instead of spinning my wheels, and maybe I'll land on something, but maybe I'll still be searching. And if I just would have been surrounding myself with those people, I would be, you know, a year ahead of where I am if I'm just trying to do it by myself.
One of my favorite quotes that I learned several years ago is speed to value, right? So how do I get better faster without stubbing my toes so many times? And you know, you're exactly right. When you surround yourself with people that have already done it, we're not here to reinvent the wheels. How do I do it? And then, you know, use my authentic self to put my own spin on it and, you know, make it mine. So man, everything you're saying really resonates with me, and I'm sure it will with, you know, the business owner community that we serve and will listen to this. And could you touch on, you know, just who one of your mentors that pops out in your life that inspired you to help you grow to the spot you're in now, and you know, how they challenged you to continue to improve and actually want to strive for more, right? Like you have to see something as possible to be able to then go, man, that's what I want to do. Could you talk about an experience you have with that?
Yeah. So I'll start with going all the way back to when I was a freshman in high school. Okay. So I've had a lot of coaches. I played sports in high school, college, after college, and one of them, the main one, was basketball. And I grew up in a small town, and there was a guy that was, you know, had gone through high school probably 15 years before me, and he was really the best player that had come out of that school, and had a real successful career in college. And a couple years before I became a freshman in high school, he decided to come back and coach in this small town, which I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes. And so when I was a freshman, he gave me an opportunity to start on the varsity team. And I say that is like, I've had other coaches and people in my life that believed in me. And I think you've got to have, when you have someone that believes in your abilities and what you can do, it is really, really empowering. And well, then you have to go and back it up, right? Like they can't just believe in you. You got to go and prove it then. But when people give you a chance and say, hey, you can do this, and then you go out and do it, then that just builds confidence, and it just kind of grows into whatever the next thing is. And so that's one kind of an early one that I had. I would say another is in this community that I've been a part of, real estate community. I've just had a lot of folks that are really busy that I can just call them up and I have a question, and to them maybe it's a more basic question, or it's a really small thing, but they just give me time. And the amount of people that have just given time to help, expecting nothing more in return, has been really encouraging. And also, it just makes me want to, continue to grow and get to where they are so that I can impact the people that come behind me. And so that's a couple of them.
That's awesome. And so, looking at the industry you're in now, what would you say some of the challenges you face, in your role and with, just things you see in your industry as you continue to grow in that space?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is just the more the macroeconomic picture and what's happening. I'm really launching into this space in a inflationary period, and when the economy is on the edge of a recession, and kind of specifically the multifamily sector coming off just a monstrous last couple of years where folks are coming into these apartments, we're turning them over within a couple of years, and we're getting great returns. The rents were flying up, and there's just a lot of things that were great for investors, but weren't something that could be sustained long term. And so I know there's some people that are around me that are like, you're really diving into this right now. And but that just makes me more sure that this is the right time, because I'm cutting my teeth in a time where you've got to be, as an underwriter, you've got to be as disciplined as ever. You can't underwrite in a way that's kind of pie in the sky, best case scenario. You've got to find deals that are going to underwrite conservatively and still have a good return for investors. And so just being patient and persistent in that. And then on the other side, there's going to be a ton of opportunity if you can just get through this time. And so that's something I'm excited about, but it's also been a challenge.
Andrew, you brought up something there that fires me up. So what we're doing with the Business Spotlight is telling about the spirit of the entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. And you took what is a challenge, and you showed your resiliency and talked about, that you're going to persevere through it. And you looked at it as a challenge, as an opportunity. And I think that's what a lot of business owners and business leaders and innovators and managers and executives, that's the lens you have to look at challenges through, as an opportunity to grow and get better and help others see that there is a way to get to the other side. So, I think that's a tremendous story about leadership and just, your character. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Nick. Yeah, this is it's been a fun journey as I've really, really gotten into it, and I'm excited for what's coming up too.
That's awesome. Well, Andrew, in closing, is there do you have any words of inspiration that you would pass on to the business community?
Yeah, I would say one of the most important things is just knowing your why. Why are you doing what you're doing, and how deep is that? And if you can find a why that's deep enough that it can really help propel you through whatever comes, whatever challenges that will come. And so for me, I want to elevate my talents or my money and my time. And I'm going to do that by elevating others' money and their time. And I want to do that to gain time to spend on my mission in life. And for me, that's impacting those around me, my wife, my kids, my community. I'm a follower of Jesus, and I want to spend more time connecting with people and just walking with them in life. And so my why with this business is I want it to be successful and get to a point where that's a reality, where I've gained margins in my days to spend more of it with those people. And because I want to impact people now, but I also want to impact people that will last way beyond my time and to future generations, and then they can impact those. And so that's a big one, is find your why, know your why. And if you have that kind of at the center, it will help propel you to do great things.
That's awesome. And I'm a big Simon Sinek fan, so I'm dialed in on the golden circle. And Andrew, in closing, could you just talk to us about, people that want to invest in real estate? What makes your company different, and what would be helpful for them to get in touch with you, and just know what the experience would be like to have success working with you?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is just going to be the connection. I'm fanatical about community, and so when someone checks out one of the deals I have available and decides to invest in it, there's going to be connection, and there's going to be conversation, and I'm going to be there to support and to update as to how the projects are going. And so that's a big one that's really important to me. And folks will be able to dive into that or push into that as much or as little as they will want. And so that's one. Another one is that I've got a lot of connections within my community. And so I'll have deals, not every single month, but fairly often, where people will have an opportunity to invest in really good deals spread throughout the country. And so one of the biggest things I would say is if you're new to real estate investing, just go get educated. There's amazing free resources everywhere. LinkedIn is full of it. I am active on LinkedIn, posting every day content about real estate, about life, about faith, about health, things I'm passionate about. But go get educated, and then get on some lists of peoples that have deals, and just get to looking at different deals. And as you get comfortable with it, you'll be ready to invest. But I think the biggest thing in this space is you got to be able to trust who you're doing it with. Yes. And because for these investments to be successful, to get a good return, the business plan has to be operated well. And so that's what I'm excited about, is just building relationship with people, and just giving opportunity for them to invest passively so that they can gain time. And so, yeah, LinkedIn's a great spot. You can find me there. Websites, www.elevatingtalents.com. You can connect with me there. But yeah, go get educated and start allocating some of your investment for real estate. If you haven't done it yet, start soon.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, thanks for joining us on the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Action Coach in North Kansas City. Really enjoyed having you on, and looking forward to sharing this with our community.
Thanks a bunch, Nick. Really appreciate it.